Hi,
Welcome.
thank you for having me here. My name's John Hines from Wayne, Maine. I grew up there. I lived there. I was born across the river in the old hospital. I graduated from Maranacook High School in 2003, where I started my logging career. So I just had a few talking points because I didn't want to get off in the weeds. This is my first time talking publicly. But other than that, I grew up in Wayne. I'm a first generation logger. My father worked for the Department of Labor for about 40 years before retiring. My mother was a school teacher. So even back then, there was barrier to entry. I think listening to some of the people talking helped me kind of adjust what I was going to describe here. But getting into the business slowly and now investing a lot more money than I had in 2003, particularly to this bill or legislation. I just put these are rough numbers, but I tried to be a little conservative. Since 2023, I have invested about 1.6 million. So, and I use 7%. If you just really want to simplify that in a 5-year loan, that's a $220,000 savings roughly, about $3,700 a month. So along with, like everybody else is talking around here, hydraulic fluid, engine oil. We talked about tier 4 engines. I spend about $1,500 a month in DEF fluid. Insurance is more money. Nothing's getting cheaper. And your payments are it's just a fixed cost. So over the course of those loans, you're going to have up and down. So something that affects your cost at just say $4,000 a month helps if it's slow, and helps take less from what you've been putting away for rainy days or whatever is going on. It also does affect, I hear from people that are talking about wanting to make upgrades, but the interest rate is just too high. They just don't want to, those were 3 pieces of equipment at 1.6 million. One was 670, one was 550. I bought another one this winter that was used, that was 340. So there's nothing cheap. And everything's getting more expensive. And I think this is something that you guys could really affect in a positive way. I employ 5 people, including myself. All the people I've hired have come from Chimbro. I employ a father, a brother, and a son, and then one other employee, and there will be another son in a few more years. So I also have invested a lot more in better paying jobs. All these people have the opportunity to make 6 figures. So here's something that you guys could do to affect a rural industry where there isn't a lot of industry or jobs or what have you. So I'm running out of time here, so we could stop at that. So anyways, that's part of
Thank you.
some of the struggle.
Are there any questions? Representative Julia.
Thank you. Hi there.
Hi.
So would you say that the difference between providing people with these types of incomes and not being able to, sometimes the margin to get you from point A to point B is very slim.
Yeah.
So if you come up against barriers, they could be catastrophic, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. But if you're able to bridge that gap, you're able to get over.
Yeah, there's
obstacle.
many contributing factors, but you can't ignore the numbers for the impact of, say, 4% on, obviously it varies from company to company, how much you owe, what you're investing. I certainly haven't invested the most, but I'm certainly not on the bottom scale of it now, but it all impacts your ability to sustain those. Another thing with those types of employees is they're not traditional from traditional logging industry. So a lot of these people that they're not gonna it's mud season, go home. So a lot of these people have to pay through mud season where I'm not making anything. But I'm still making equipment payments. I'm still making interest payments. I'm still making all those things. So maybe the interest that I would save on that would pay for a quarter of my payroll or it pays for all of that employment during the springtime over the course of a year. So you can apply, anybody can apply this to whatever part of their business that they want to. But there's not many, there's only so many controllable things that you can turn the lever one way or the other. And this is something substantial that this committee could push forward, and however that works in legislation is above my head. So, anyways, so that would be my take on that. So.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Representative Eater.
Thank you, Senator.
Bingo. I'm sorry. Got a mirror effect going on here.
Getting them cool glasses on.
Yeah,
so-
that's right.
Thank you,
No.
being here. Have you ever had one of the regen systems and your equipment go bad?
Of course.
Costly.
Yeah, and it's not just the repair, but it's really the downtime. Yeah, so,
Thank you, thank you.
okay, thank you.
Is there anyone else in the room that wishes to give testimony?